deep, turum, calculated, twanting, and cinematic, dian-ang. The Rockefeller Blueprint, the matrix you can't escape. In 1870, he controlled 4% of the market. 10 years later, it was 90%. His name was John D. Rockefeller, but don't mistake this for a boring history lesson. You are living in a world Rockefeller designed, from the gasoline in your car to the pills in your cabinet, and even the tech platform you're using right now. Everything functions under a single century-old monopoly blueprint. Rockefeller didn't just sell oil, he engineered a system of extraction. Vertical integration. He owned everything from the wooden barrels to the railroads, starving out the middlemen. Horizontal consolidation. He gave competitors a brutal choice: sell your soul to Standard Oil or go bankrupt. When the government broke up his empire in 1911, that was the ultimate bait and switch. His wealth tripled as his monopoly evolved into the giants we know today: Exxon, Chevron, and Mobil. Today's titans, Amazon, Google, and Big Pharma, aren't reinventing the wheel. They are running the Rockefeller playbook. Capture the regulators, use philanthropy as a moral shield, and treat competition as a sin to be eliminated. This system wasn't built for you to escape. It was built to extract your wealth and concentrate it at the top. Don't just fight the machine. Understand its gears. Stop being the fuel and start becoming the owner. Subscribe to Crash Cycle Financial. See the system, master the game.
John D. Rockefeller wasn't an accident. He was a product of contradiction. His father, a con man who sold fake cancer cures, teaching him the art of the ruthless hustle. His mother, a devout Baptist, instilling a cold, calculated moral certainty. To Rockefeller, destroying a competitor wasn't a sin, it was a service to God. He believed that the chaos of the free market was wasteful. To him, the invisible hand was inefficient. He wanted a visible iron fist. In 1859, the oil rush in Pennsylvania was a disaster. Thousands of drillers, wild price swings, and pure chaos. Rockefeller looked at this mess and saw a mission: order from chaos. He didn't want to gamble on drilling. He wanted to control the bottleneck. He chose refining. This is where the Rockefeller blueprint begins. It's called vertical integration. Most men paid others to make their barrels. Rockefeller bought the forest, built the factories, and made his own for 15 cents instead of 25. Most men paid railroads to ship their oil. Rockefeller became so big, he demanded secret rebates. He didn't just pay less. The railroads actually paid him to ship his oil while charging his rivals double.
The Cleveland Massacre, destroying the competition. Vertical integration made Rockefeller efficient, but efficiency wasn't enough. He wanted absolute dominance. By 1870, Standard Oil controlled only 4% of the market. To Rockefeller, that 96% of competition was a sin that needed to be purged. In 1872, he launched what historians call the Cleveland Massacre. It wasn't a war of bullets, it was a war of ledger books and bank accounts. Horizontal consolidation is simple. If you can't beat them, buy them. If they won't sell, bury them. Rockefeller would walk into a competitor's office with two things: a fair offer to buy their business and a look at his own books. He showed them his secret rebates with the railroads, his ability to ship oil for a fraction of their cost. He gave them a choice: join me or be crushed. Most took the money. Those who didn't, they met the predatory pricing engine. Rockefeller would drop the price of kerosene in his rival's territory to well below the cost of production. He was losing money on every gallon, but he had a war chest of millions. His competitors didn't. He bled them dry, he watched them starve, and when they were on the brink of bankruptcy, he bought their ruins for pennies on the dollar. In just 3 months, Rockefeller swallowed 22 of his 26 competitors in Cleveland. He didn't just win, he erased the very idea of an alternative. By 1879, he controlled 90% of American oil refining. But why didn't the law stop him? Because Rockefeller understood the third pillar, the trust. Since it was illegal for one company to own another across state lines, his lawyers invented a legal ghost, the Standard Oil Trust. It was a holding company before the term existed, a silent, invisible web that controlled dozens of businesses under one brain. He had created a shadow empire that was technically legal, but functionally a dictatorship.
The 1911 breakup. Evolution, not destruction. By 1911, the public's hatred for Standard Oil had reached a boiling point. The Supreme Court finally swung the axe, ruling that Rockefeller's empire was an illegal monopoly. They ordered it to be smashed into 34 separate companies. The world cheered. They thought the giant was dead. They were wrong. Rockefeller, ever the strategist, had a secret weapon: equity. Although the company was split, he still owned shares in every single one of those 34 new entities. Then the miracle happened. Standard Oil of New Jersey became Exxon. Standard Oil of New York became Mobil. Standard Oil of California became Chevron. Without the centralized trust holding them back, these individual companies became leaner, faster, and more aggressive. But more importantly, the newly born automobile industry exploded. Suddenly, everyone needed gasoline. The value of those 34 companies didn't just stay steady, it skyrocketed. Rockefeller's net worth tripled overnight. He didn't lose his power, he simply decentralized it. He became the world's first billionaire while the public celebrated his defeat. This is the ultimate lesson of the Rockefeller system. The pieces are often worth more than the whole. But Rockefeller's true genius wasn't just in oil, it was in his final move, the philanthropic shield. He donated hundreds of millions to create the Rockefeller Foundation. On the surface, it was charity. Beneath the surface, it was regulatory capture. He funded medical schools that prioritized pharmaceutical drugs, drugs often derived from the very petroleum his companies produced. He reshaped education to create efficient workers, not independent thinkers. By the time he died in 1937, he had achieved the impossible. He turned the most hated name in America into a symbol of generosity, all while his system, the vertical integration, the holding companies, the lobbying, became the standard operating procedure for every megacorporation in 2025. Standard Oil never died. It just became the air you breathe and the tax you pay to exist in the modern world.